You're listening to the Live Free podcast. I'm your host, Christine, certified life coach, pain to power mentor, and creator of Embody You Mindset Mastery School. I'm here today to discuss living life after disease, disaster, or adversity, to discuss living life fully once again, a life of hope, peace, and resiliency, a life fully embodied. I utilize the lessons that I learned going through not one, but two primary cancers. I'm here today to guide you to the life of your dreams, turn your pain into power, and lead you back to yourself. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Live Free podcast. Today I am joined by Laura. Laura is a caregiver for a child that is going through cancer. And so it's all about raising awareness about childhood cancer, but also about what it's like to be a caregiver for somebody who is going through cancer. So this is truly an important topic and so rarely talked about. We talk a lot about the actual patient, but we don't talk a lot about what goes through the mind of the person who is going through the experience. So we talk a little bit about her, about the child's parents, some resources that are really helpful, and as well as just raising awareness for childhood cancer and maybe even pulling in a couple of prayers for this wonderful child that she's going to talk about with us today. So enjoy the episode and we'll see you on the other side. Okay, so today I am joined by Laura. Laura is all the way from Atlanta, Georgia, and she is here to tell us a little bit about childhood cancer and how it has impacted her life and the people around her that she loves. We want to raise some awareness and get a little bit of an idea of what it's like to be working with a child who has cancer and how it affects other people around them, and how their inspiring story has been creating change. So thank you so much, Laura, for being here. And tell us a little bit about your story.
So my godson, Sebastian, is 3.5 years old. He'll be 4 in February. And on July 29th, he started complaining about having a headache. And then the next, I would say 5 to 6 days, he kept complaining about having a headache and was also vomiting intermittently. So after 5 or 6 days of that, his dad took him to the pediatrician who, I don't want to say blew them off because there's no way he could have known. But, anyway, the point is his father decided to take him to the urgent care. Urgent care sent them to the ER for Sebastian to have a CT scan. And that's where they found a golf ball sized tumor in the right cavity of his brain.
Wow.
Basically sent our lives into a nightmarish chaos overnight.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I know we talked a lot about how you have been this support for the family, as his godmom, you've put so much time and effort into helping with the family, which I just absolutely applaud you for. How has it affected his mom and his dad and you? Like, what has changed in this short period of time since his diagnosis?
So it's only been 10.5 weeks. And we have a completely new perspective on life, understanding that we didn't even realize we were taking things for granted.
Isn't that the truth?
I mean, we're all, hard working people, and we try to have fun when we can, and they're raising kids. And Sebastian, like I said, he'll be 4 in February. His older sister Sage will be 8 in January. And we're just, regular people, just kind of making it. And then all of a sudden it's like I said, I mean, we're I'm sorry, there's so many layers to the situation.
Always
That
is.
Yes, exactly. And like I said, it's been such a short time. So it was just like overnight, we found out. And we are a tight tribe, and we are a changed people. Our purpose now is, well, first of all, to save Sebastian's life. And secondly, to just raise awareness about childhood cancer, support other families going through this as much as we possibly can, and that kind of thing. But I'll back up a little bit, and just say that they found the tumor on a Tuesday with a CT scan, and it was removed on a Friday.
Wow.
And when the doctor came out and said that he got, he didn't say I got 99.8% of the tumor. He said I got 100% of the tumor removed.
Extraordinary.
And it was a 9.5-hour surgery. It was the worst day of our lives. And we were hoping that that was it. But of course, the tumor was sent off to be biopsied. And they said we'd have the biopsy. So the tumor was removed on a Friday. They said we would have the biopsy back that Monday or Tuesday. The biopsy didn't come back for 3.5 weeks. And that's when we knew that something was wrong. So what it is that Sebastian has a very rare childhood brain cancer that starts in the embryonic stage that was only discovered in 2016. So it took so long to get the biopsy back because they didn't know what they were looking at. They had never seen it before.
Wow. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So we find that out, and that, was, I'm not sure I have words for that information, but then you take the information, and then you somehow don't end up in a straitjacket, because you're going to do whatever it takes to save his life and be strong for him.
There's a resiliency that comes out.
Children are so unbelievably resilient. God put something in them that is just so special. And Sebastian is special. All children are wonderful and special. And I know this is going to sound biased, but there's something that people have ever since he was even a little baby, have commented that there's something magical about him. And when he started preschool last year, the teacher told Sarah, his mom, my best friend, that the children, boys and girls, argue over who gets to sit next to him at snack time or reading time, or this and that. And then the nurses in the hospital argue over who gets to have him as their charge that day.
Wow. And so how has he been faring in this process? I mean, he's still in it. And, after the surgery, you found out that it was, of course, not good news. What happened next for him? And, and how's he doing in all that?
Okay, so what happened next was, we find out that, there's more cancer. And so the first thing that they did was start harvesting his healthy white blood cells.
Okay.
Then he's in the middle, let's see, he just had his third round of his very intense, rigorous chemotherapy that he will have until March, and then be reevaluated to see if the chemo is working. And if it is working, then they will replace his lost white blood cells back inside him. I'm sorry, I'm getting a little bit off track, but finding out that he was going to have to go, not only have to go through chemo, but go through such intense chemo will knock you off your feet. But you have to just stay strong, for him. And I have no doubt that Sebastian is going to live to be 100 years old, but I can't stand the road that he has to go down to get there, if that makes sense.
It makes so much sense. And it's not fair. And I mean, it's not fair for an adult to go through this, but it certainly is not fair for a child to go through this. And with so much resiliency, like you say.
And he's still, I mean, like I said, he's magic. And so we're supposed to be healing him, but he's healing us. And we have started, so we're a changed people. We are learning about fundraising. We are learning about supporting other people that are going through the same thing. We are learning about rare forms of cancer. We are trying to raise awareness, because the thing that we've learned that a lot of people don't know is that of all the fundraising or the money that's raised for cancer, in the country or the world, only 4.5% of it is dedicated to childhood cancer.
Wow.
Yeah. That was a shocking statistic to me.
Oh my gosh, no kidding.
So, and the thing is that since his cancer started in the embryonic stage, there was just absolutely no way we could have known that we could have prevented this. And then it raises the question, does every toddler that's 2 or 3 years old need to have regular MRIs? I mean, you know what I mean? It's been information overload. It's been lack of sleep. It's been emotional, mental, physical stress. It's just not to, I mean, we still have hope. Our slogan is hope. #Sebi strong.
Beautiful.
So don't think we don't have hope. We do. But
and
I
with
can't say
the
that
magic he has, with the magic he has, I'm sure that also adds to it, that hope.
He just, it's unbelievable. And we have a GoFundMe, and just to let every listener know, because most people are on Instagram, his Instagram is at Sebi Strong 22.
Beautiful.
And we want that hashtag to, when you how when you put in a hashtag on social media, or especially on Instagram, it shows you how many times that hashtag has been used. We would like by the spring to put in that hashtag and see it's been used 1 million times.
Right. And so that's what's inspiring you to keep moving forward, is creating awareness because you have so much hope that Sebastian's going to be 100% okay. So that's not the question here. It's just How can we create awareness for this disease, and how can we prevent it for other children? How can we fundraise so that Sebi's family can be in a comfortable position because this is expensive, and and all these things, right? So it's about creating a really big community of support. Am I right?
Christine, you are exactly right. Um, because of course, just good vibes, prayers, blessings, that is all welcome. But let's just be real and talk about how like it all comes down to money. I don't think that Sarah is going to be able to go back to work because somebody has to be in the hospital with him. Okay, so let me back up for a second. Let me just back up and tell you about the day that his mom called me and told me that he had a brain tumor. Okay, so she calls me. It's like a Tuesday. It was 1:00 in the afternoon. They're at Children's Healthcare of Atlanta. She's like, Sebastian has a brain tumor. I was like, I'll be there in 20 minutes. So I go, and he feels fine. He's wide awake. He's playing with his dinosaurs. He's, this and that. However, Sarah is exhausted because she's been in this hospital room since like Monday morning at 3 a.m. You know what I'm saying? So right. I just come in and I come in because I'm just there, for support. And she says, I'm just going to lay down in this little like bay window they have in the hospital room and close my eyes for a few minutes. And I was like, honey, close your eyes for as long as you need. And it's just things like that you do not realize until you are put in the position of this. The inertia of like being in a hospital room all day long, because of course you're not going to leave your child, but at the same time, I know that there are other families that are not as blessed as we are because we have such a big tight tribe where there's so much support, but a lot of people don't have that, and they have to go to work. They have to. And so we are like, basically, we are going to save Sebastian's life. I have no doubt about that. But any money that we raise, we donate 15 to 20 to 25% of it to other nonprofits that support families going through the same thing.
Wow. And so, like, it's just extraordinary that he is in the middle of his journey and you are still like, of course you're fundraising for him, but you're also fundraising for other people going through the same thing. Like, tell me a little bit about this alchemization of this pain, like how you're able to turn this pain into power, and like what really fuels the need and the interest to want to pay it forward and help other people going through the same thing. Like, where are you drawing that from?
Well, we're Christians, or the word Christian has gotten a bad connotation in the world because we have the wrong people representing us. So I will say that, like, instead of saying that, we just like follow the teachings of Jesus Christ. We have really strong faith in God. And we believe that the purpose of being human and being here is to help each other. We need each other. That's why we're here. And the saying, it takes a village, doesn't just come from anywhere. Right. So it's that, and then it's also just, I think it's just compassion. And it's just recognizing, and that is, God, like I said, there's so many layers to this, Christine, but it as awful as it is, it has really, we are so blessed. Like, we have each other, We have so much support. And I have spent so much time on the hospital floor that it breaks my heart to say that, like, maybe 2 days in a row, I've walked past like the same baby's room and seen like nobody in there.
Right.
And my guess is like the parents are at work or something like that. I mean, there's no judgment,
Mhm.
there's no judgment, but we are so blessed, and
Yeah.
we just need to spread that to other parents that are going through the same thing, and just so that they don't give up.
Right. Right. Oh, and that's so true, is that in this situation, we need to find a resiliency. And it seems to me that you are absolutely one of the people. I'm sure Sarah, I'm sure his dad, whose name I can't remember right now.
Andy.
Perfect, Andy. That they themselves would agree that there's something awful about cancer, but there's something that makes us so, I don't know, there's this strength that comes through, this hopefulness that comes through,
Yes,
and you can alchemize that pain. It is so painful, and it's awful to watch him go through this and all of this stuff. But we also draw this power from within us that we didn't know was there. It was dormant.
exactly. And it's also, I think, as awful as it is to watch Sebastian go through all this pain, the poking and the prodding and the blood transfusions, and just and yourself, how painful just chemo is. It's just
Oh
nothing but
yeah.
pain and torture and
Mhm.
nausea, and you don't want to eat, and you can't smell certain things, and it's just, I
Mhm.
mean, your strength is inspiring. And
Mhm.
for you to invite me on and to join you, we are creating and raising the vibration together.
100%.
You
Laura,
know,
we really are. And that's the goal here, right? Like, you
that
just
is the goal.
giving people hope, right?
Hope.
Hashtags heavy strong.
Yep. And our
Yes.
t-shirts are um hope, and the O is the gold ribbon. Gold is the color for childhood cancer, which I can honestly say I did not know until this happened, because I can't keep up with all the colors. Um, which, it's not funny, but if you don't laugh, you're not gonna make it. Um,
So
and then
true.
it's Sebby Strong, and he knows that he's sick. And he knows that the poking and the prodding and the this and that is medicine that's going to make him better.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean he likes it. He'll stick his tongue out at you,
I bet. Yeah,
but
of
he'll stick
course.
his tongue out at the nurses, and then when they pull the needle out, he'll go, "Thank you."
Oh,
So,
gosh.
you know, but um again, so, like, the way that I have seen their neighborhood, their community, they live in a suburban, I live in the city, they because I'm single, I don't have kids. And they live in a suburban neighborhood, and the neighborhood uh started a meal train. um Women, mothers I've never even met in my life, started texting me, asking me, because I was staying at the house, taking care of Sage, staying at the house taking care of Sage. They're texting me, "What do you need? Do you
Wow.
need snacks? Do you need booze? Do you need a face mask? Do you
Yeah.
need," you know what I'm saying? Like, and they
Wow.
don't even know me. So
Yeah.
watching
I'm
that humanity and all of that, and you have to look for the blessings. You have to
Yeah.
look for the little wins, and you have to look for the blessings. And as hard as it is, he was even the other day, he was hooked up to his little, IV. He had luckily been able to come home after a week and a half because he had COVID. He caught
Oh,
COVID at the hospital.
ouch.
But that's a whole other, that might even be another episode of a podcast. But he was watching his favorite cartoon and he laughed, and I was just carrying some laundry through. Sarah was doing the dishes, and I just looked at Sarah, his mom, and I said, he's still here.
Mhm.
We can still hear his laugh.
Beautiful.
So
Yes.
let's hold on to that and let's keep going. And we are already talking about starting a nonprofit to just have, this is what I've learned personally. One of the things that I've learned, I mentioned this a minute ago, the inertia of just being in the hospital room for 36 hours at a time, 50 hours at a time, never leaving. You don't know what that's like until you go through it.
Yeah.
So we have this idea to start a nonprofit where we would have local nail salons come in and give the moms free manicures.
Wow.
Or a local massage place maybe set up just a chair in the lobby 1 or 2 days a week and just do 15-minute neck massages. Just anything.
Yeah. Just to
And
break that up.
And we also want to stress that to parents, you do not have to feel guilty for taking care of yourself while you are going through this.
Yes. And that actually leads nicely into my next question. What is some advice that you would give to a parent in the same situation? What advice do you often give, Sarah? Or both of them rather? What are some advice that you give to Sebi's parents that you would give to another parent going through this?
Don't be afraid to ask for help, because people will be there for you. Look into any local nonprofits that this is their specialty to help you through this. Anything that you need, do that. Go get your nails done. Take a nap. Don't feel guilty for anything that you do that is keeping you mentally sane or makes you feel better about yourself, or
right, so that you can pour over in a full cup to your child who's going through this.
This is why when you and I, we had a conversation about it and we also messaged about it. We have the same language that I learned from listening to your episodes. So, that saying, my cup runneth over. So my cup is full, because if my cup is not full, then I'm no good to you. So my cup is full, but it runneth over, and what runneth over is for everybody else.
Yeah. Beautiful. What an awesome piece of advice to end off with. I'm so grateful for that. And you know what, it is so important, and it's not talked about enough. We talk about the cancer patient who's going through the event, but we don't talk about the caregivers enough. And so
exactly.
So I think this is a really excellent note to end on. And it's really, empowering for the caregivers to hear this. And I would love to share it in a lot of different places. And, and that really leads me to, how can people connect with you? we can say some prayers. And so like everybody who's listening, like throw a prayer in, give it, let's get some prayers in Sebastian's bank here. And then what are other ways that we can connect and support children with childhood cancer and help with Sebastian himself? Like, how are ways that we can connect?
Well, thank you for asking. And the best way right now, we are working on a lot of things that are very new to us. But honestly, the best way right now is Instagram.
Okay.
If you go to Sebastian's Instagram page, which is at SubbyStrong22, his GoFundMe link is there. And there are other links to the other nonprofits that are supporting us and that we are also supporting.
Excellent. Cool. So then for the parent who's listening to this, you've created a bit of a resource guide for some of the nonprofits. Is that right?
Yes. So it's at SubbyStrong22 on Instagram. And then there is a national nonprofit called the Raleigh Foundation that we've been working very closely with. We've been donating to them. They support parents who are going through this. And then another one is called Encourage Kids. They are a nonprofit out of New York City that they also just raise money, they raise awareness, they go into the hospitals and bring toys and dogs and iPods and all kinds of things. And all that is just on the at SubbyStrong22 Instagram page.
Beautiful. Okay, well, that's great. Thank you for that. I'll pop it in the show notes so that we can support Sebastian, so that we can support these nonprofits, so that we can support other mothers and fathers who are going through this, and other children who are going through this, and all of it. Okay, so yes, thank you again.
Thank you so much.
Oh, it is my pleasure. Thank you for being brave enough and vulnerable enough to share this with all of us. I know that it's going to bring some light to somebody out there who's just feeling like they're lost. So. Yes. Feeling like they're lost, feeling like there's no community. And now you've just created that. So yes. So thank you so much. No, not at all. Yes.
Okay. Thank you for having me, dear.
Yes, my pleasure.
Okay. I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you so much to Laura for the courage and the bravery that is necessary to tell this amazing story. I know that as you were listening, you feel the same urge as me to really send your prayers, your thoughts, your vibes in the direction of Sebastian, his family, and of course Laura, who's also put in so much time and effort from the goodness of her own heart to help with the family. And as she spoke about, there is lots of different opportunities for you if you are dealing with childhood cancer that is on the website, some nonprofits. I'm not sure if they're states only or the United States only, or if they cross over to Canada. But if those resources are helpful to you, then give those a look. And of course, we do have the GoFundMe for Sebastian, should you decide and if that feels right for you to help the family out that way. Anyway, thank you again so much for being here, Laura. Thank you for listening, everybody, and gaining a little bit of knowledge of really what it's like to have a child with cancer. I hope that if you, the listener, have dealt with cancer or are caregiving someone that you love with cancer, that this gave you a little bit of insight and understanding about what everybody goes through and that you truly aren't alone. So thanks again, everyone, and have a beautiful day. Thank you so much for listening. If you found expansion with this last episode, then that means that others will too. And the best way to get the word out about the podcast is by leaving a review. I would be so grateful if you could leave me a review and let me know how you felt about the podcast. Included in the show notes will be everything that we talked about today, including all of my transformative programs. Change is just on the horizon, my friend.